Hey everyone, do you want to turn your doorbell sound from this to this or any other sound? I'll show you how to do this with the Raspberry Pi, a couple of wires, and a speaker. This video assumes that you already have a Raspberry Pi set up with Raspbian. If anyone's interested in a video on how to do this, comment below and I'll put up a video. Otherwise, there's plenty of tutorials on the interwebs as well as on YouTube. Unzip it and SCP or copy it over to your Pi. Next, move the doorbell.service file into the libsystemdsystem directory. Edit the exec start directive to the file path of where your doorbell.sh file will reside. Save and exit, and then type in the command line sudo systemctl enable doorbell, and then sudo systemctl start doorbell. The script that will play an MP3 sound file when the doorbell button is pressed is now active and will automatically run on your Pi every time it is powered on. If you don't have a program that will play MP3 files, I suggest installing mpg123. To do this in Raspbian, run sudo apt-get update, and then when that is done, run sudo apt-get install mpg123. I also forgot to copy the MP3 file over, so as you can see here, while waiting to update the package repository and download mpg123, I SCP'd the file over. I also renamed the MP3 file to make things easier for me. I used headphones to test this out and typed mpg123 followed by the MP3 file name and hit enter. You should see text saying that mpg123 is playing the MP3 file, and you should hear sound coming out of whatever you have plugged in as your output device. Finally, power down the Pi by typing in sudo systemctl power off on the command line. Now, time to connect a couple of jumper wires to the Pi. I used two female-to-female jumper header wires and connected them to GPIO 26 and ground. These two wires are on the bottom right of the GPIO header on Pis with a 40-pin GPIO header. If you have a case for your Pi, feed the wires through the cover and put the cover back on. Now on to disconnecting the doorbell transformer and hooking up the doorbell button to your Pi. The doorbell transformer can be in various places in the house. Mine was attached to a junction box in the garage right next to the garage door opener. Common places these are installed are in the attic, closet, or inside of a breaker box, and are usually 24 volts AC. I would recommend cutting power to the transformer by turning off the breaker for the room or area it's attached in, or unplugging it if that's an option. After power has been cut off to the transformer, I loosen the screws on the two terminals and unhook the wires from it. Now you'll need to find the doorbell chime. They're usually mounted in a hallway, or in my case, next to the washer and dryer by the stairs. While you watch me struggle with doorbell chime, a couple of weeks ago, after setting up this doorbell, I paired a Google Home Mini through Bluetooth as my speaker. If you're interested to see how I did this, comment below, and if there's enough interest, I'll post a video on how I did this. I did have issues getting this to work on Raspbian, so I ended up using Arch Linux instead. It's rather surprising how much more work it takes to pair a Bluetooth device on the command line. Unscrew the two red wires from the doorbell chime, and temporarily remove the doorbell chime from the wall. It's hard to see here, but the two wires were connected with a wire nut, which I had to dig out from the wall and then separated the two white wires. Now you have to figure out which wires are for the doorbell. The easiest way to do this is to use a multimeter with the continuity setting. Connect each end of the multimeter's leads to each pair of red or white wires. Have someone push the doorbell and see if there's continuity. If not, try the other set of wires and hope there's continuity when the doorbell button is pressed. Luckily for me, one of the wires had 4 conductors in it, which led me to believe that it was the wire going to the transformer, which indeed was the case. Remember how I mentioned to cut power to the transformer? This is why, so that you don't get a nice shock even though there's only 24 volts AC that's being sent to the doorbell chime. Now that you've found the wires that go to the doorbell button, connect them to the 2 header wires on the Pi, and if needed, put some electrical tape on so that the wires don't make contact with each other or anything else that it shouldn't. Plug in your speaker, a micro USB cable, and then power on the Pi. Wait 1 to 2 minutes for the Pi to turn on and press the doorbell button and you should hear a sound coming out of your speakers. In my case, it was a cat meowing, because why not? I hope you all enjoy this video and please share it with anyone that you think will enjoy this silly but fun project. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.